Friday. We're here on the Stardock stream, having survived yet another E3. And what? Wait, what's this? What is going on? There's something crazy on my screen. I don't understand what's happening. I'm just kidding.
I can't even see it, so
I do understand what's happening. This is what I was showing this week at E3. This is little sneak peek of Ashes of the Singularity, which is this fancy new game we're making, Stardock and Oxide Games. This is our new RTS. We were on stage with AMD, which you can check out on YouTube, and I just wanted to throw a little shout out to that. It's very cool. We just started our Founders Alpha on yesterday, as a matter of fact. So it is about as fresh as it gets. If you're interested, check it out. Okay, we are returning to our regularly scheduled Galactic stream. Yes. Here we are. All right, here we are. It's Galactic Friday. We have a fresh, hot off the presses 1.1 build, which has not been released to the public yet.
Well, this is going to be a 1.1 opt-in, but like super, you have to actually get a password, which you can get by just going and reading the forums. Reading the notes. Essentially, we want people to start playing with it, but it's a lot. We're starting to introduce the modding support. So we're starting with factions and ships, and then later we'll support like full-on mods. But things might change, and those mods you make right now might get broken, or ship designs may get broken. So we want people to kind of be knowledgeable before they end up opt in. But if you're listening to this, you're probably pretty knowledgeable of the game, so you might be interested. I thought I'd really quick demo a little of the Steam Workshop stuff. So you can see now we have a Steam Workshop button here, and we have a upload to Steam Workshop. But let's start by downloading, because there are a couple. This is weird. I have to, like, for some reason the factions filter is not working. This is why this is an alpha. But okay, so here's Derek actually made his Ghost of Abaddon mod into a faction. And actually, the funny thing about this one is because it's nothing illegal and it's based on a mod, it actually is more of a mod than just a custom faction. It has some weird things you can do this.
Because they have the like null home planet.
They have three colony ships instead of, right. but so whereas you have to be careful though with the mods, because it's easy to put in if you made custom data, then it might break. Whereas this guy is actually using all legitimate data, so you can actually. So I'm going to download the Morat Pride and the Ghost of Abaddon. Oh, actually, I guess how do I do this? I've never actually done this. There we go.
There you go.
And then how do I go back?
Although we're on a local build, we're not actually running a Steam build here, so I don't know if it'll.
No, well, Steam is running. It should work. I better work.
Well, if it doesn't know where the folder is, though, if it's because the game is
they go.
The data
I believe they go into your My Documents folder.
So so then maybe it'll see it if they go in there.
Well, we'll find out in a second.
All right.
So I'm gonna subscribe to both these guys.
We had a request to see the new UI scales in the chat. Is
you
that
know what?
Something you can show?
I've been working hard on it, but I'm not. They're still buggy.
Okay.
So I haven't done. Okay, so here's the Morat Pride. I don't see the Ghost Abaddon.
Did they?
Oh, there they are.
Oh, yep. That's awesome! I love that they hot load in.
So now
that's cool.
Let's play as one of them. I'll play as these guys, even though they're Derek's crazy race.
We had a question. Are you adding an in-game mod manager to turn mods on or off? Workshop mostly handles that, does it not?
You just have to
unsubscribe.
You know, I honestly. I don't know. We do not have an in-game mod manager, but we were like, oh, people can just do this. But I don't remember what that was. Now, that said, as we get more advanced, probably in 1.2 or 1.3, we might actually have something more, a little more robust. Right now, we mostly just want people to be able to make factions so that people can play against 50 factions or whatever. And so I'm going to add those two guys that I just made.
Nice.
And... so people can get factions and get ships.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the thing we're doing with ships, and this was kind of hotly debated, but I kind of put my foot down. Ships are only uploadable as templates.
Oh, really?
And that is because...
So they don't break if you
break.
mess with mass?
Well, no, not just mass. Like, literally, I downloaded the ship. Where is it? Oh, you don't have the tech to use that ship. Yeah,
people would just
they're-
be really confused.
It
Yeah,
would be
yeah,
very
totally.
confusing, and also,
It would break.
let's
for,
be honest. What people want is sexy looking ships, and they're
Right.
going to be mad if they download their sexy looking ship and they can't get to it.
And you can always load up the template and save it back out as
But not
whatever
if it's
ship.
hidden because of a
Right.
tech.
Right.
Whereas whereas templates are essentially what all of the existing designs are. So now that let's go here. Let's go to Steam Workshop, and I'm going to download this Drengen World Eater, which is kind of an awesome name.
That is kinda awesome.
These are
Nice.
we had Brandon, our main ship designer guy. Make
Oh,
a
these are
couple-
Brandon ships?
Yeah, a couple ships
Nice.
for the demo, and I like this one. This one is neat. It's like a robot-y looking thing. So
Nice.
I'm gonna subscribe to this, and in theory, these should also upload. And so now I go to new design. Uh-oh.
What'd you do? Did you break it?
Well, this might be because I'm not running in the folder.
It could be.
Oh, that's
Sorry.
bummer. Well, maybe they'll be there now. This is what we actually were going to download the Steam version, but because we decided to use this build recently, right before the show, we didn't have time, so we copied it over. And
Right. This is it's just a
but anyway,
local
so
build
what
on
will
the
happen is
drive.
those ships will show up in my designs, and they are not locked by anything but their hull size. So you do have to, like, if you download a huge, it won't show up until you have huge hulls. But if you download a cargo, it'll
always show
It'll
up.
always show up if you
Gotcha.
download a tiny. But that's the only thing locking them, and that way, when people come up with these awesome designs, I think I have to say no.
Oh,
Maybe those are.
Are they larges or something?
Well, I am saddened by this turn of events.
Or are they only showing because you're only showing Iconian
you know what? They're
styles?
probably in a different style. It's and also, so now one of the things we had talked about because of the mass caps and all that is that sometimes it's possible for designs to get locked by text, and so we actually we put in an option to show overcapacity ships and show all designs.
There we go.
So now if I go to show all designs, did it say I have to reboot?
Yeah, you have to restart apparently.
I don't want to have to reboot.
But you were so close to winning, the UI said.
Yeah. So anyways, let me restart this again. So essentially the templates will show up and they show up in the templates, not in the ship designs. Otherwise, your ship design list would get totally crowded and you'd be obsoleting stuff like crazy. So if you like a design, if you download somebody's awesome battleship ships and you make designs out of them, they'll always last. They'll stay in your list.
Right.
But otherwise, they'll just be templates. We also added the ability to, just to be safe, I'm going to go to Terran in case maybe that's what was the problem was. This is why it's an opt-in. We've also made the ability to delete and obsolete templates, which I know people had wanted for a long time. Aha! So now I see everybody's, which is kind of awesome. I don't know if we had that before. Okay, let's see. So where is this ship? Maybe it didn't get it. I'm mad. Where's my Drengen rock killer?
That is a ton of hulls to go through.
Well,
and it might not. I guess it might not be showing up.
Anyways, but now, like, you really like the Grand hulls, and you want to play your Terran, but you want miscellaneous ships. You can go through and pick any template. So this way, this also means that if I go into designs and there's a ship where like I changed the mass of carriers, I made the advanced carrier thing 90 instead of 80, and you had a carrier that was designed to be, to use every single bit of capacity, and now it's locked. It'll show up here, but it'll be grayed out, and it'll have a message saying you'll need to edit this.
Well, that's
now
nice.
I'm going to keep that. I'm going to do that as rarely as possible, but I just, every once in a while that's going to happen. Anyways, I'm going to try one last time because I'm an optimist to get this ship, and I have a feeling it's because we're not running out of the folder.
Yeah,
I am
probably.
subscribed. Yeah, it didn't work.
Sorry.
Anyway, so this is my fault for the way we set up today. But anyway, so that's how you'll get hulls, and I'll make sure that the guys downstairs know that this is happening. Anyway, so that is new.
Very
Some
exciting.
other great stuff that's coming in is we have added raw production tooltip here.
Yay!
That actually tells you exactly where everything's coming from. We've added this approval now actually tells you the actual bonuses that you're getting.
Oh yeah, the
from
minus
it.
0.5 growth,
Yeah,
etc. Nice.
Tons of little things like that.
Yay.
This actually says cannot build because I don't have Durantium.
Oh, nice.
Cannot build. I mean, these are like little things that it just are really frustrating because anytime the player goes, well, why can't I do this? That is something we want to avoid.
Sure.
I can't really demo this, but one of the things we also, oh my God, I forgot we disabled the console in release.
Oh no.
Actually, you can still do it, but you have to type
You
in.
need a
You have to put
launch
the
argument.
You have to put in the cheats thing, and that's because it's too easy to exploit it and cheat. Oh well, I guess we're just gonna have to play like a chump.
Oh,
So the
terrible.
we added some things like when the UP has blocked military trading, it will actually say the military text will show up and be gray, and it'll say these are blocked by this issue and for the next 10 turns.
Okay.
You know,
Nice.
mostly we're trying to go through all of these things where people are confused and fixing them. That's, I mean, this is only 1.1, so we haven't fixed everything that there is to fix. But I think this was a good. We're mostly trying to just make the game feel a little better.
Sure. I had a question from Sam Dominion. Don't we need the console to be able to open up hulls to do ship designs? I don't think so. That's all in the ship designer UI, isn't it? Like to be able to.
Oh,
view
he wants to unlock so that he can do fancy.
Oh, I see. Yeah. So I mean,
if
the
you
answer-
want to just design and you don't care about the game you're playing, you can put in a command. You can put in
unlock.
I forget what it is. It's called like /cheat or something, and that will.
I think it's
unlock
traditionally minus cheat or minus cheats in your launch
it.
options.
I'm sure it's in the notes.
In the
and if
patch
not,
notes,
I'll make
right?
sure
So
it is.
if you don't know how to do that, it's you right-click on the game in your Steam library, go to Properties, and in one of those sub-tabs within the Properties
It's
dialog,
mostly
you can
because
hit
of things like multiplayer problems, imbalance in multiplayer, and also in the metaverse scoring.
right.
People can just exploit it too much. We want people to be able to do it. We just don't want it to be the default.
Okay. Here we go. Let's see. Are there plans to add support for sound modding? Also, any plans to add flavor text inclusion? Currently, to add flavor text, you need to modify the base flavor text file. This prevents multiple mods from using such a deep feature.
You can do it. It's a little complicated, and we will be adding more support for that. I actually would like to make a big flavor text editor that makes it really flexible. I kind of had to put it off because as anybody he's probably reading this, he knows that the flavor text engine is really robust. So there's a bazillion options, which makes it hard to put into
I see.
a
Like
basic
putting
editor.
Yeah,
so.
I gotcha. Okay.
So yeah, but we'll be doing that. You can already do quite a bit, but what you like, say you want to make a new race, right? You can make a whole set of custom things for them as in a separate file. But like if you wanted to add something to the Terrans right now, it's a little hard without adjusting the actual core thing. Now that said, if you're a hardcore modder, you can take the core stuff and just replace it in your mods folder and rewrite it completely and it'll work.
The concern is that if you have multiple mods, though, only one of those only one of those mods will be able to modify.
That's on my list of
effectively
things to do, but
master file.
it's a little more complicated than I would like it to be. So we'll be playing with that for a while.
Gotcha. So let's see. So sound modding, though?
Sound modding is not on the immediate radar. I like the idea, but there's not as robust a data structure for sound. But I mean, you could probably already mod it quite a bit, but we don't have anything the way like we do with ship configs and stuff, where like there's a sound config per race. But that doesn't mean we won't someday.
Will unsubscribing from a mod delete the content from your game? I don't actually know that. That's a question. That's a question for Valve, I guess. I
believe it does, but let's find out. I can actually just go, I guess I can just go to Steam, but let's just go to here and say Steam Workshop. And we got to figure out why that is showing up, probably for the same reason the ships didn't show up. So I don't want Derek's stupid, actually, his is pretty good. Mine is pretty boring, so I'll get rid of.
Oh, are those yours?
Yeah.
I think you have to click into it and then unsubscribe.
Let's go. Unsubscribe. All right. And then.
Since it hot loaded. It might not hot unload, though.
That's true.
Well, they might still be there. So you
I
might.
don't know. I'll have to ask about that. I can obviously just delete them.
Right.
But I don't know, honestly.
Okay. Well, fair enough. Easy enough to delete, though, on your own. So
Yeah.
hopefully. Let's see. What do we got? Will tech brokering and tech brokering banning make it into 1.1?
No, but in 1.2 probably.
Okay. Ronan the Wizard says, could colony capitals get a maintenance cost? Currently, expansion is too easy. It's an interesting question. Because
that is expansion may be too easy, but that would probably not be the way to fix it.
probably the colony ship's more expensive. Would be
essentially
a very easy one to tune.
And I actually did nerf one of the things probably going to make people mad is what is it called, technology, where is it?
Enhanced population? Which
no,
one?
there's one that makes support modules cheaper.
Oh yeah, it's in engineering.
Yeah.
It's up. It's in interstellar specialization.
Yeah, transportation specialization. I dropped that to 20% from 30.
So at least you can't get it done.
So that'll and I also made some things more expensive. And I'm not done balancing. This is a opt-in because it's still several weeks out before we actually do 1.1. Mm-hmm. So if this is an unfinished mod because we're still adjusting balances.
Sure.
I nerfed. I made a lot of the negative race traits more negative.
Oh, okay. Good.
To kind of make them a little less cheesy. Mm-hmm. We made a thing where you can't no longer, if you're playing a synthetic race, you can no longer go, I'm negative 30 farmers.
Right.
And, I got 2 free points. So we fixed some stuff like that.
Sure.
Lots of little things going in.
It looks like the Ghosts race is not as implemented as we had hoped, as you should not have a capital, should you? Or is it just a really small one?
It's just, look, he must have changed it to where.
Yeah, because that's still like a class 11 or whatever.
Yeah, it must not be using their same. It's not. It's not using the star system. Now I don't know if that's his mod, or he did that on purpose. Yeah, it's called Soulstar 1-1. Yeah, that sounds
bizarre.
Like a bug.
Yeah. All right. Anyway,
hey Derek, there's a bug in your race. He's like, I don't care. I want to go make my game.
Derek's playing some Sorcerer King right now, I believe.
Where is everybody? Oh, I forget. I'm playing a race. Apparently, they have the.
The intuitive or not intuitive, but
I didn't know they had that.
Whatever that thing is, the one that I never play with because I hate it. But that's okay. I don't have to love everything. Let's see. The CW has some link that he wants you to check out. I would say put that on the forums. Let's see. Sylor says, I know it's a ways off yet. However, when we get a Snathy DLC, will there be a new minor race to offset their promotion?
I am actually having a difficult time with that because it's not a difficult time with that. The problem is that the Snathy are already in as a minor.
Right.
And what I really should have done is just not put them in, but we had to have them. So now I can't overwrite them. Right, so everybody's going to always have the Snathy. So I might have to make the new race like the Snathy Prime or the Snathy Uprising or something like that, so that it's a whole separate race, and then the original Snathy can be just still a minor.
Okay, fair enough.
So I might call them like the Snathy Uprising or something like that, or because the whole point of the campaign is that they break free of their prison and they're to kill everybody. Ooh, that's shiny. You can tell Derek made this. Because he does love the shiny.
He loves the shiny. It is cool though. I like it. Let's see. Will we eventually get an endless tech tree? I know we had talked about putting in some repeatable text at the end.
First step is to adjust cost by habitable planet count, and then we will see if we still need a endless tech tree.
Okay. Let's see. Can we please have subcategories to put planets in to group them together and manage their production, research, wealth priority? I think that's in governors will help a lot with that. Is the hope.
What will end up happening is once the governors are in, which is not going to be in 1.1, you will then be able to go here and say all planets doing this do this.
Right.
And essentially the governors will be your subcategories.
Right. So hopefully
that will be our first step towards that. Now, if that's not enough, we might do more. We have 5 years to get it perfect. So
sure. Here's interesting. Gopher Celerity says, I'm skipping across a couple questions. I'll come back to him, promise. What UI improvements are projected for the next 3 months or so? I'm especially interested in minor things like right-clicking to close screens and ways to sort and navigate the shipyard build list, more so than things like governors that require a lot of coding. So any other minor UI
to
close screens? I actually would really love that as well. I can't remember what the heck. It might have been Endless Space started that convention, but just like because you don't use right click for anything, if you right click closes screens.
Well, in the ship designer, don't you use right click for something? I guess you don't.
Well, you could disable the ship designer, but in the other screens, it'd be really.
The only thing we use it for is movement.
I want to say it's Endless Space was the one that did it, but which is a great game.
Oh, that's a good idea. I know.
It makes it a lot.
We'll
faster.
keep polishing it. I don't have a specific list, but I do like that idea if it is that trivial.
Because anywhere but on the main screen, you really don't use right click for much.
Yeah,
if anything. So
I always wanted to make it so that if you right clicked, you got a menu and you could go 1, 2, 3. But and you could essentially
like
get all these
menus.
But the problem with that is I forget, but there was I'm like, oh yeah, let's do this, and it's
on the main screen.
Perfect.
On the main screen, right click is move your ship, so it'd be very confusing.
No, it's not
in that
even
regard.
that. It's like you hold down and you get the thing. There was some like game breaking reason why we couldn't do it, and I forget off the top of my head what it was.
Let's see. When can we expect sort options in the colony list?
In here?
No, I think he's saying on the Empire tree.
I say because this has sort.
Because you can sort there. No, he's saying in the Empire tree.
Probably 1.2.
Okay.
Along with sort options for the ships.
Okay. Let's see. Dan Siegel says there are big discussions on the large empire penalty / approval. What are your thoughts on how harsh and when a faction should begin to be hurt by expansion?
First off, we're going to adjust that also by planet count because right now,
like
on a
number
tiny
of
map, it
habitable
means
planets.
nothing.
Right.
On a huge map, it's crippling.
Right.
So we need to adjust that. We're also going to be adding, and I didn't get this in for 1.1, but we'll be in 1.2, a improvement that makes your planet not affected by it.
Oh yeah.
And that will.
There's one of them. I thought one of them. One of the Prometheon or something.
No, it's going to. It doesn't.
Oh, it doesn't. Okay.
It unfortunately requires code.
I see.
To do it right. It's not as simple as just saying. Yeah, I was hoping to get that in, but I don't think it's gonna. Although, it might.
All right. But
it'll be in 1.2 if it's not in 1.1.
Fair enough.
Maybe a patch of 1.1 and in the not too distant future.
Will there be any giveaways today? No, giveaways are really special occasion things for us. We gave away a ton of stuff in launch week because it was launch week and we were all very excited. But I'm sure someday again we will give away more things. But
I don't have any cheats. Oh God, I'm gonna have to exit and add the cheat command because I want to do. I want to show the new cinematic camera.
Fair enough.
Let's see if I can figure out how to.
If you do create shortcut. Oh yeah, there you go. Yep. Yeah, you got it.
I think it's just cheat.
I think it's minus cheat, and it's probably all lowercase.
I don't think it is.
No? Okay. Hey, man, it's your game.
Well, yeah, except for I didn't have anything to do with this.
Well, we'll find out. Let's see. We can take some questions while we're at it, though. Let's see. The ancient trait gives me 10% research per module instead of 10% per relic. Is that working as designed? Or working as intended?
Per module.
Per archaeology module on the starbase, I'm sure is what he's saying. Because you unlock more archaeology modules in the tech tree.
Boosting them?
And he's saying that the ancient ability is giving him 10% per, which is a lot.
I thought we fixed that.
We'll look into it.
I'll look into that.
Should be an easy data change to fix anyway.
Well, it's actually not. There's a weirdness about that
really?
stupid trait.
Sorry.
Anything that's like a custom trait like that usually has like weird exception making, and then it is the bane of my life.
Sure. So all of the things that are going to scale to number of planets, is that a 1.2 thing?
Probably.
Okay.
I don't think we're going to be able to get it in for 1.1.
Okay. Let's see. What are you doing to spin ships around like that in the ship designer? Oh, it's right click and drag, right? Or is it
Middle
click?
mouse.
Middle mouse and
Middle
drag.
mouse
In the ship designer, though?
Everywhere.
Everywhere? Okay.
Everywhere.
Middle mouse and drag.
Middle mouse and drag. I know, like, this is a convention that we actually stole from Max like a zillion years ago, and now it's been in 2 versions of the game. But
Which
some
is-
people still don't know that it
The what?
Does-
Oh, the middle click and
the
drag?
middle click and drag, yeah. Some like
yeah.
Maya does right click and drag.
Okay.
So it is funny, but like I said, when we first got this, we were like, well, we'll just do what Max does.
Funny.
And that was
You mean 3D
7 years ago.
Or
So
Max. What's
3D Studio.
3D
Max,
Studio
yeah.
Max. Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, we're having a big argument right now with the Ashes not argument, but discussion with the Ashes founders and the Ashes team about whether we should do right click and drag to pan the map or middle click and drag to pan the map. Because in RTS, traditionally it's usually middle click because right click is giving orders, right, in RTS. So there's some discussion around that. I'm firmly on the middle click tip myself.
I am, because I'm used to it. So matter of fact, I get mad when I don't realize. And this is exactly what that person's probably saying. How do I turn the thing? It's not the same way every other game that I've played. But for me, it's like whenever it's not middle click, I'm like, what's wrong with this game? How do you...
Right. Let's see. This is going to be your favorite question, or rather comment, Paul, because Cranium Bread says, I don't feel the large empire penalty at all in immense galaxies, even with 100 plus planets, as long as you build a few entertainment buildings.
Yes.
Which has been Paul's argument on the large
Yes,
expansion
but everybody
penalty.
yells at me. So. We just need to adjust it.
Yeah.
Also, what race is he playing as?
That's, I guess, the other question. I don't know.
Like if you're playing as the Kryn, they don't have the large empire penalty. Which
Oh,
is
the
their
Kryn-
super ability.
Yeah, the Kryn are so OP.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I nerfed them a little bit for 1.1.
I do like the Kryn. They're fun to play, so I'm not that upset that they're a little OP. Are there any plans to improve the multiplayer setup lobby after the game is better balanced? Yeah, I mean, we're always kind of working on it. I don't know if there's anything in the immediate term or in the short term. Were you right? It's just cheat. It doesn't need an actual like minus or a slash or anything in front of it.
Yes.
Nice. All right. Fair enough. I should stop telling you how to do things in your game.
Well, I only did it because that's how Gauss of 2, Fallen Enchantress, and
Okay.
the other games that I've worked on,
Fair enough.
I've always done it that way.
Let's see. What's going to be the approximate timeline for 1.1, 2, and 3? Well, 1.1 will be soon because opt-in is up today, I believe. And 1.2 and 1.3 will be later.
Well, the opt-in, essentially a couple weeks. We still have features that we're adding. 1.2 will probably be another month, or a month or 6 weeks. Well,
that was
it's because one of them was unlocked.
Oh, yeah, that'll do it.
Oh,
let's
I
see.
should have unlocked all, but then let me try that again.
Any plans for Vista compatibility? No. I think the game runs on 64-bit Vista, but we don't officially support it because it's a pain in the butt and it's a very small slice of the user base. So you can kind of run it at your own risk.
Yeah.
Now, it has to be 64-bit Vista, which, again, was not very widely distributed or used.
Honestly,
because
to the
Galciv
point
is a
where
64-bit
I didn't
game.
even realize we don't support it.
I mean, it's
because
largely-
it was a decision we made like 3 years ago, and very few people have ever mentioned it.
Right.
Because most people don't, bailed out of Vista the minute 7 came out.
And rightfully so. Let's see.
I'm actually more concerned, although we've been testing already. I want to make sure it's solid on 10 because I suspect there'll be a mass migration. Everyone, at least any of the poor
Windows 8
suckers with
users
8 will jump to it. And I've been using 10, and it's worth it. It's better than 7. It's still got some quirks, but it's better than 7.
I like a lot of things about Windows 10. I do. Yeah. DirectX 12, like in Ashes, sorry to be on the Ashes tip so much on the Galciv
It's almost
stream,
as if you spent all week talking about it.
I did spend all week talking about Ashes. But no, in Ashes, like the improved frame rate in 12 versus DirectX 11 is incredible. I mean, it's like on a lot of systems, and it's not every system, but on a lot of systems, it's, I mean, like twice as the frame rate, right? Like it's a huge performance
twice
improvement.
is a term.
Whatever, it's larger. Shut up. Let's see.
It has a multiplier of.
This is one that I know people have been asking for, and it's more work than it sounds like, but it would be nice to get in. Can we get a do this later or minimize button on diplomacy screens so that we can check our standing with races before deciding, for example, checking a race's military power when they demand money from you? That's one that I would definitely, and like diplomacy and UP stuff.
I don't know if we would have a
nice.
do this later, but what we need is a way for you to check.
Right, to at least look at
that we will do.
Oh yeah, that is.
We will address that.
Okay, sweet.
Not right away. It's kind of low on the priority list, but yeah, anything we can do to make diplomacy better is always on our minds.
Totally. Let's see. Can we get more lens flare in ship paddles?
That's funny. I'm always the one who's like, why don't we have lens flare? Someday we might have lens flare. Okay, so here's some new cinematic cameras. I put it on I guess this battle isn't that big. I was hoping. We have a new data-driven camera system, and I don't think everything is in here like right now, but you get us a lot sexier.
That's way better.
Yeah, a lot sexy.
Is that actually dropping frames on your side? It looks like it's dropping frames on my side.
No, it's perfectly smooth.
It is? Okay, it's probably something on XSplit then. That's fine. I was just going to be like, why in the world is this 295x2 dropping frames in a small Galciv paddle? That was going to be
so you can see that like the camera obviously. Oh, that was a weird little one. Oh, that's actually. Oh, that's.
Was it colliding?
Shake. That was camera shake. We're bringing back camera shake, but it's still weird. So
well, and when the background doesn't shake at all, it doesn't really.
So so this is, you can see that there's some. I'll try and get a bigger battle here.
You should totally get a bigger battle.
I don't have my script handy, so I'm having to do
the manual,
the
battle beefy
way.
Gothvan says, I added Buxton to my pool. He better produce. Man, the kid's got all the talent in the world, but he's having a little bit of a rough go of his first taste of the big. So I don't know how smart that necessarily was, unless you're in a keeper league, well, in which case he's a fantastic investment. Moving on back to Galciv things.
Shut your mouth with your crazy. Yeah, so I think that these cameras are. I mean, like I said, we're not done. Actually, what's neat is this is all data driven. The camera stuff. So as we actually have an artist who's now going to spend a bunch of time coming up with really good combos.
Who's doing the camera stuff?
Yeah. The thing that I think is missing in this current iteration is we're adding the ability for it to do a follow cam where it makes sure the person firing can see the person. So essentially you get that like I'm chasing this guy down. But I mean, this is
a million times better already.
A million times better than what's in it. And this is just literally all programmer art, and that Jesse did all this himself.
Nice.
And now we handed it over. The other thing that's not in yet, but will be in before 1.1, is we're redoing the free cam so that you no longer, get all lost. And we're going to get WASD in here. One of the things I want, though, is kind of ironically hard to do, is I want to be able to just, anytime I grab the screen and pull it, to go to free mode.
Yeah, that would be nice.
So that, or anytime I hit pause and then I'm paused and then I hit the grab and pull, I go to free mode. So that's on my wish list and may get into 1.1 or maybe not.
All right. Let's see. What can I do with 2000 Durantium? Boy, I don't know, man. That's a lot of Durantium.
You could build a lot of Durantium factories. You could build a lot of Singularity drivers.
Sell it to everybody else for a ton of money.
You could build a ton of Singularity ships. Actually, you could eat that up pretty quick with a huge fleet of like dreadnoughts.
I suppose that's true, actually.
You can, if you have 2000, you probably have a pretty big empire. Build one of those Durantium things on. There's 100. 1,000's a lot, though. 2,000's a lot. That's impressive. Maybe you need to lower your resource.
Yeah, that's Sylor. He plays on large maps. I actually like resources a bit rarer, so I usually have my resources.
Well, the
on-
problem is Durantium is too common.
It
And
is.
I don't
It
know
is.
what to do about that. I actually have toyed with the idea of having them be having Durantium things cost more, or having more Durantium things. Well,
Sure.
we'll keep playing with that.
Sure. Let's see. Some questions about the ship designer. Any improvements in the pipe for the way that you attach parts and modules and things to ships? Because it can be kind of difficult to get them oriented the way you want them and whatnot from time to time.
We are always polishing that, but it's not a trivial
Sure.
thing to suggest. What is happening here? Oh, apparently I didn't have anybody else in this fleet.
All right. All right. Let's see. Will the option to flip or rotate entire ships in the designer ever be added? As once or twice I've built ships backwards. I've totally done that.
You know, originally I had that. It's kind of has bad ramifications because you cause a lot of math. It's a lot of math. But that said, maybe one of these days I'd like to, for the first expansion, have essentially an advanced tab. Well, that's cool. Whoa.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. No, advanced tabs make sense. Let's see. Will the option... Oh, no, sorry. I already got that one. High-tech level approval buildings are very ineffective with high large expansion penalty because you subtract the LEP malice before factoring in the multipliers. Is this working as intended? So you subtract the large empire penalty before the multiplier of whatever your morale bonus is.
Is that true?
That's what he says.
That does not sound correct. I will check on that.
All right.
I'll check on that. Yeah, if that is the case, that is a bug.
Why is there no negative stats for fighting in an asteroid field?
There is, isn't there?
I don't think there. No, I think. Well, it takes more moves to go into it, but there's no like combat
No, I
effect.
thought
I don't
it
think.
did. Oh, it's only the nebulas.
Yes.
Well, your wish might be. Your wish might be accepted. The main reason is because you don't tend to stay in asteroids fields.
Right.
It's actually kind of frustrating. If the map scale was different, I would actually have liked to made asteroid fields bigger.
Sure.
It's in 1.1 or in an upcoming thing. We have some custom maps, and some of them I have big ass asteroid fields.
Okay.
And so
Sweet.
maybe I will. I think I actually have the technology to apply other modifiers, but I'm not sure.
Are you still planning to redo starbases in the summer, as Brad stated in the Steam forums? If so, what are the changes planned?
We are planning on doing them. I have not decided if we want to do it for wait till the expansion,
Okay.
or which I guess would be the summer. So yes, I don't
Well,
know.
We're
Well,
not
I
going to
don't
have an
know.
expansion
I don't know.
in the summer.
In other words, whether we're going to do it in because we have a rather substantial thing in the first expansion, a lot of which is geared around star bases.
Oh,
so it
sure.
might be best just to do it all like that. We might add some more. Well, that's weird. Oh, it's because I have a custom map.
I see.
Actually, how do I Oh, there we go. So we will probably do some Starbase enhancement, but the whole like overhaul will either be in a bigger DLC later. I'm not DLC, bigger patch later, or maybe actually just in the first expansion.
Okay.
Because we want to change it substantially.
Yeah, I mean
it's not something that's just like a trivial change. So it'll probably have to wait.
Yeah, it'll be huge though. It'll be awesome. I'm looking forward to it very much because constructor spam irritates me as much as it irritates everybody else.
Work on ways to kind of minimize that though, and those will be in batches.
Okay.
But as far as like the overhaul of how constructors and shipyards, we want to make it so you can upgrade shipyards. We're going to make it so you can mine asteroids. Those things will probably all be in expansion.
Fair enough. Are there plans to add ideology-based ship models, weapons, defenses, supports, and things like in?
Originally I had ideology-based weapons, and we kind of took all those out because we didn't want the ideologies to essentially just be another tech tree.
Okay.
They're really supposed to be special traits and behaviors, and the tech tree is for unlocking techs.
Sure.
One of the things I am toying with, and it was originally in my original design doc, is have combo things. Like if you have this trait and this tech, you get this thing.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's what I was going to do with the world killers. There was this
Okay.
tech called I forget what it was, where it essentially is a planet killer, but depending on the ideology trait you have, it's used different ways.
Okay.
But that opened a whole nother can of worms. So that might show back up someday. But like I said, we deliberately don't put components and stuff, or at least there's very rarely put components
Sure.
in the ideology trees on purpose.
Sure. Can we please get a way to skip planets or force end turn?
You can, first you can skip planet. Actually, I do want to get it
force
won't be
end
in
turn would be
1.1,
nice.
but we want to be able to turn off, for advanced players, we want them to be able to turn off the turn actions if they don't want them.
Mm-hmm.
The easiest way to skip planets is to just put them on a project,
Right.
and then they'll never prompt you. But I mean, we deliberately don't want you to be able to skip planets because then you lose track of things, and it changes the pace of the game substantially. But I think for advanced players, I'm not opposed to having an option to do it. But right now, if you just don't want to, if you just go, you know what, I don't want to manage this planet. Once the governors will also take care of this to some degree,
Right.
or you just say, this governor take over, and then you're done. But for now, you can say, do economic stimulus, and then you're done. Or you can also, one of the things people don't really realize is you can go to your, go into your governor screen and just say, I want this planet to only do manufacturing. And I want it to only go to my starbase.
Well, you
that's
don't
weird.
have a starbase. Or you do, but you're on...
I don't have an actual shipyard here. So anyways, I put this all the way to the shipyard, and then it will never prompt me because it'll just send everything
Sure.
to the shipyard.
Let's see. It would be nice to make it easier to find races you just made contact with stand out on the diplomacy screen, particularly minor races. Because, yeah, the Diplo screen can get a little crowded on large maps for sure.
Races you just made contact with. So, have them be like, oh, this is the guy you just met.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. I don't know how I'd go about doing that, but I think we could come up with something.
I wish we had some kind of indication of, oh, you're soaking.
Look
and
at that.
That's hot.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I wish we had some kind of indication of who was ready to talk on this screen.
Actually, we're talking about putting a little
That would be
status
perfect.
bar, a little HUD over all of these.
Yep.
That essentially gives you what's their mood toward me, can I talk to them? A couple little things like that. That won't be in 1.1, but it is on our list.
Fair enough. Let's see. I don't need Buxton. I have Chris Bryant. Yeah, Bryant's doing all right. He's getting it done. Cubbies are much less
ball.
embarrassing than they used to be.
I'm going to trade DL Bradley for Kona.
Let's see. Time scroll in replay battles. Oh, like having a...
Oh, we would love to do that, but it's actually kind of a technological nightmare at this point. That doesn't mean that someday we won't do it, but the way we are doing the battles right now, it would actually be very difficult to do. And not efficient use of our time, unfortunately.
Sure. Let's see.
Holy crap.
Last time you backed up my suggestion about making tabs in the shipyards menu. That way we could have tabs for military, economic ships, etc. Is that going to be implemented? Yeah, I mean that's
tabs in the shipyard.
Filters in the I don't know if he means the shipyard menu or the
ships list.
The ships list.
Yes, that we are planning on doing.
So that for sure, and then but I think he's also in like the shipyard production queue. The shipyard menu.
Whatever we do there might actually, ironically, we used to have, yes.
An economic one would be nice.
But the problem is what people really want, what nobody used them, and we ended up with all you really cared about was whether I made it.
Sure.
So that's why we went back to this. We do actually have a smart control that lets you actually then click here and show you all the little filters. What we might have to do is, if we're going to do that, though, we need to make it so this thing can expand and show multiples. And that is too much work to do really quickly. So that is why that has not been done yet.
Sure. I had some people that I'm a bit back in the chat here. People saying the stream is lagging. That's going to be on your end, unfortunately. My connection to Twitch is very solid today, and has been since Bruce apparently had to like change a bunch of wiring around because there was some ancient router that like nothing was even connected to, but through some weird technical voodoo was like bogging down the entire network on this side of the building. Anyway, shout out to Bruce for fixing up our network. We appreciate that. All right. Are there any plans for a tool to edit the faction file so that we can make deeper changes in our factions that we previously created in the faction creator?
Well, okay. You editing an actual faction you made in the faction creator is hard to do outside the game because it's actually a binary file.
Right.
That said, when we're eventually going to release the modding, the editor, in which case you could just make them straight in XML like we do, and then you could go a lot deeper.
Yeah, I mean that's. I think
you can do that with the XML now.
Sure,
you could just create one with the XML now.
Sure,
but it's not practical to translate the
faction file,
the binary to a thing. I mean, we toy with the idea, but it turns out it's kind of a pain in the butt.
Okay.
So hopefully, what we'll do is just shouldn't be that hard for a person to just remake that faction in data if
ideally,
they really want it.
Ideally. All right. Let's see. Sometimes I feel that upkeep is generally too low. Have you considered raising it?
Maintenance in general?
Yeah, cash upkeep.
It's a freaking It's a balancing act that I do not care for. It is too high. It is too low for a human because a human knows how to manage it, and it's too high for the AI. So it's one of those things where once we can get the AI a little smarter about it, then we can raise it a little. But then again, all of a sudden, everybody's like, "Oh, now it's too high." So, let me just say, we will be balancing everything forever, until for the next 5 years probably. So.
How will the Archeans look when they get back into Galciv 3?
You'll have to wait and find out.
They'll
look like Archeans.
They will look like Archeans.
They'll look probably better than they did in Galciv 2. I think that's a safe assumption.
That would be the
That's
hope,
a safe assumption. It might look a little worse for wear because they've pretty much been wiped out. So
let's see. Are there any plans yet to make it so that there is a reason to keep the minor races around?
There is many reasons.
I was going to say, I keep them around all the time.
Yeah, you keep them around for trade. You keep them around for people who you can trade with who won't declare war on you.
Yeah, I don't.
There's a lot of reasons to keep the minor races around. We'll try and find more. But it's really a play style thing. Most people go, "Oh, I'm going to just kill them because I can." But that's not the best use of them usually because
and killing them requires investing in the military to go kill them.
Well, no, I know, but that's good because then you're ready to take out somebody bigger,
right,
or defend yourself against somebody bigger, which is one of the reasons why minor races are there. Which is why I say kill a couple of them, befriend a couple of them.
I actually, to be honest, Paul, as much as I complain about UI and balance things all the time, I actually really like where the minor races are.
Yeah,
personally.
No, they're good. They're good. But I said that doesn't mean we can't find other things for them to do.
Oh, sure.
But as a rule, minor races are there to trade with, to trade text with, to trade for money, to get to trade routes, to I will often give minor races actually planets.
Really?
Colonize around them so that they get more resources.
Interesting.
If you give a minor race a colony ship, it'll colonize. Huh. They just won't build them themselves. So you can essentially give them stuff, and you can build up a little tough empire, and that way you can trade with them, and you can get them a lot of money. I always trade with them all my economic techs so that they are making as much money as possible. And they're and this is a double-edged sword. One of the great things you do is also trade with them diplomacy and research, and that way because what are they going to do? They're going to research all this stuff. They can't build fleets to come kill you. So it's like, well, I'll take that to you. The bad news is if other people trade with them, they can get those things too.
We need tech brokering. I'm really excited for tech brokering.
We are going to get tech brokering. But even still, it's still almost always worth it to just trade with them. Just don't trade with them the stuff that you
I trade them
valuable.
resources all the time
Yeah.
because I don't tend to value my resources very highly. So I trade them resources, get a ton of money, trade them tags, and
I think
trade
this
routes.
is in 1.3, but I don't know if people have seen the
sweet.
pirates have the pirates have an entire ship style now. So
that
if
was
you
it. Yeah, that
wanna
was
play,
in 103. Yep.
Yeah, if you want to play as pirates.
Totally. Let's see. Being a game that takes place in the future, this is what I was laughing about earlier. Being a game that takes place in the future, the Earth globe does not reflect continental drift or global warming. Perhaps change Earth's atmosphere to closely resemble Venus. Thoughts?
No. Yeah, no. No,
Also,
we figured out in the future they figured out this what's it in the lore, cascading fusion, which solved all of our power problems and made everything perfect. And then just to tap that off, it's actually only been like 300 years or 400
Not even.
years.
It's like 22 something,
yeah,
isn't
so
it? So it's like 200 years.
Continental drift doesn't register.
Right.
And we fixed all of our environmental problems and everybody's happy until we ended up having to go to war with alien races.
That's right. Let's see. Sorry, I have chat to catch up on. I apologize for that. Are there plans to add a command? Oh, I would like this. Are there plans to add a command to cancel all or certain projects empire-wide? That would actually solve some of my micromanagement issues because I tend to put like I'll just drop like an economic stimulus or something at the end of the queue, right? And then when I research something new,
there are plans to deal with those types of things. I'm still concretizing them though, so you won't see anything like that right away.
Fair enough. When switching to a planetary project, any accrued manufacturing points that are stored are flushed away instead of being used as a one-time boost. Is there a chance that this can be changed in the future, which would be a great way to not to waste stored points when switching to projects?
I'm a little surprised that happens. I can check on that because we do. I guess maybe a project is separate code, so maybe the points get lost. That might be worth looking into.
Sure. Let's see. People asking for us to post this on YouTube after, which we certainly will. Let's see. Is the AI's assessment of threat primarily based around faction power? Economy seems to be based on the size of your bank account, not your revenue generation. The AI always thinks I'm weak because I keep very little funds available. I just stay in the black.
Your economy is a large portion of faction power, and so yes, that can make you look weak, but it's not the largest portion.
Could be it's overvaluing what you have in the bank though. A couple thousand credits in the bank doesn't necessarily mean all that much.
Yeah. I would say that's a new one. No, yeah. That it does account for those things. It might be overbalanced, and we will, always be adjusting that. Did I stop the soak?
No, I think it's gone. I could be wrong.
No, it waited for me to hit turn.
Who is the best Galciv 3 player at Stardock?
Probably Brad.
Brad. I mean, I'm all right.
I mean, Brad is when you're playing the AI, you're essentially playing Brad. And then you die.
I mean,
I
Brad's
would
a
like
better
to
player
say
than the
I
AI
am,
is,
but obviously, but essentially, but Brad is the one. I mean, he invented this game a zillion years ago, and a lot of the core dynamics are still the same. So and also he's just a mad strategy guy. So I have to admit, Brad is probably the best. Now that said, I come in a solid 5th or 6th. No, I don't know actually. It depends on your gameplay style. I would say I might be the best at like an economic growth tactic, but Brad would just crush me by killing me.
Right.
So
Brad plays as aggressively as I do, which is like I've met very few people who play as aggressively as I do.
I can play against like genius AIs and still win on an economic basis mostly.
Sure.
Because that's just how I like to play, and I know how to get just the right balances and how to micro all my planets into being super productive. But that's, like I said, it's a gameplay style thing. But I mean, if it was literally a death match where 2 men in or 1 man's league, I would put my money on Brad.
I mean, it's not like we sit around and it's not like we sit around and play like duel matches to figure out who's better at Galciv or anything. That's not really.
No, although it would be fun. But unfortunately, we have all this whole making of the Galciv game.
Yeah.
I do try and make sure people play the game though. It is very, especially with Galciv, which is such a very I don't know what the right word is, flexible game. It's a very broad game that can be played. It can be played in so many different ways.
Yes.
And if you've only ever played it in one way, you really can't do. I mean, if you've only ever played tiny maps and you're like, oh, when I play, I have this problem. It's really not fair because there's, as we hear from a lot of people who play today, are playing on large maps. And they are like, well, obviously this is broken on a large map. I've got 2,000 Durantium. If you've never played on a large map, you would never have that problem. So
Sure.
it's a very hard game to balance, as I can testify.
I think the stuff scaling by habitable planets will help. A lot.
And that was what we meant to do, and it just didn't get in, and we really need to do it. The problem is we have to make sure we can do it without breaking old saves.
Right. Are the Yor or synthetic races in general supposed to be able to go over the synthetic population cap?
They are not, and they will not be able to in 1.1.
Fair enough.
Matter of fact, there was a really bad exploit that we just fixed, and I had never thought about it. Kind of embarrassing, is that the Yor population would cap, and it would stop you from your people would die, but you could build them faster than you could. So you just queue up like 50 guys, and you'd end up to 100, and they'd be like, oh, I lost one each turn. Who cares? I've got 100 extra guys.
Funny.
And then they go frickin' postal and murder everybody.
Oh, boy. Is the future planetary governors feature a reuse of current AI code, and therefore by using it, you will have equal footing with the AI in that respect?
It is going to be a advanced version of that, and also, while doing it, we'll probably end up improving the AIs as well.
Right.
Matter of fact, we just did a big passage, something I can't really demo. Maybe I can if we let it play long enough. On the AI governors are much smarter now.
They're building, the building placement.
They're building much more cleverly, much more cleverly. So hopefully that'll. I mean, it's funny. People bitch. The AI doesn't know what he's doing, and then the AI does. The AI is cheating. He knows exactly. But in this case, he's not cheating. He just is doing math.
Sure.
He just goes, wait a second. It is worth it for me to build this here and here, and
sure.
And one of the things that where we kind of bid ourselves with the AI would happen is the AI would build 2 improvements at a time, and then go, okay, now I'm going to wait. And so people would get to a plan and go, why hasn't he built everything? And then the auto upgrade would kick in, and then you end up just kind of doing this round robin of upgrading those two things. So now we make sure that the AI fills the thing up, and what we had to do is something that that computer is horrible at, which is we had to make it wasteful and make it go, I'm going to go ahead and build something here for the first 20 turns. And then if I have to, I'll blow it up.
Sure. No, that's a lot of the time that's the right move in Galactic.
No, it is the right move. And people have no problem with that. The computer goes,
sure.
Why would I do that? So, yeah, so we had to essentially force it to go through and reevaluate every so often. Okay. And it'll now literally go, screw this, I'm blowing this. Yeah, matter of fact, it might even hurt it sometimes where it'll be like, if I put a factory here, it's going to have a +5, and there's a farm there right now. Screw that. I'm going to blow up the farm. But then the population goes down, and then so it's one of those things where it'll actually make more mistakes, but it'll hopefully be a much more alive system.
Okay. Fair enough.
This is why we have an opt-in to see if it explodes. But so far, in our testing, it's much more impressive.
If you feel like opting in and you wanted to see what the AI is doing, you can use the local player cheat if you just type local player whatever. And I'm saying, but the community will totally report useful things.
They know all that. Yeah.
They will report useful things, and more eyes on it is good. I'm not trying to expose all your secrets, Paul.
No, I mean these are the things that we try very much to make sure that people can see. The only time we hide stuff is when we just don't want. We don't feel it's information that the players should know.
Right.
In Galactic 2, we actually had them gated, like how much you could see gated by espionage, and I'm thinking of bringing that back.
Okay.
Because then it's like, oh, I mean, if you had high enough espionage, you could literally click on a planet and see what it had on it.
And before anybody asks, espionage is coming in an expansion.
Yes.
We're working on it. Well, we're not.
Well, it's coming
with
it's coming with commanders.
Right.
And essentially, little units of all kinds.
So it'll be great. All right.
What's this race is little blue.
Ooh, that looks kind of nice. I like that
What
midnight
is it?
blue.
Is
Or
that?
not
Oh,
even
is
really
that the
midnight blue.
Abaddon? No.
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
Abaddon.
yeah, it is. I
Nice.
thought they were orange.
Perhaps not.
Oh, maybe their
Their
color got
UI is-
changed
Oh, weird.
because we had too many races with the same color.
Ah, that could be.
Yeah, because we do override that if it starts getting to the same.
Right. All right. Well, I think that's going to be the stream for the week here, fellas and ladies.
All right.
Thanks for coming. Do check out Ashes, which I just drew up on the screen again because it's really sweet looking, and I spent a long time on this video. But yeah, do check out Ashes. It's out. 1.1 opt-in is up today, so you can check that out on Steam. That'll be coming out soon in the public version, or the full proper 1.1. And then 1.2, 1.3, and DLCs and expansions and stuff moving forward on Galactic. Absolutely.
And Nitrous, the engine that is running that,
So hot.
is really cool, and it is going to be the future of a lot of unannounced.
It is. Well, Star Control is announced, and we've said that Star Control is going to be on Nitrous. So
I'm sure
that's at least one thing
variant
that we can
of that will be in Galactic 4.
probably.
So,
Probably. So, all right. Well, that's it. Happy Friday, everybody.
Alrighty.
We're back on Tuesday with Servo, Wednesday Sorcerer King, Thursday Off-World as always. Give us a Steam review. Join us on Twitter, etc., social
And the
channels,
week after
shout-outs.
that, I will be gone.
Hooray!
I'm going on vacation. Actually, everybody's going on vacation.
Everybody's going on
So
vacation.
we will officially, I'm assuming, have no stream.
will not be streaming.
from my phone in Alaska.
From a boat.
Yeah, that would be a little expensive. All right, so
Awesome.
no
Well,
stream though.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for coming. It's been a pleasure. We will see you